Good evening. Welcome to Wonderfully Whole Conversations. This is a platform to highlight men and women who are living a wonderfully whole lifestyle and who are impacting their generation and their generations to come by who they are. And this evening, I am so excited and happy and honored to have my sister-in-law, Michelle Handwerker. I call her Michelle, but she's Dr. Michelle Handwerker. Welcome, Michelle. I'm going to call you Michelle.
That's great.
We have known each other for
Wow.
about 32 years. That's a long time.
It is.
And we always connected because of your sweetness, your graciousness, and I'm so happy that I felt around you. I always feel very good, and and that's a blessing.
Amen.
So today our topic is holistic nutrition. But before we go into that, I want to read your bio. I'm going to read just a little of your bio.
Okay.
Because you're a very humble person and you never flaunt who you are. So I'm going to read a little of your bio. Since 1975, Michelle Handwerker has been an advanced practitioner of Armor Therapeutic Massage, an Asian healing art based on the principles of the science of acupuncture. She was trained by the founder of the Wholistic Health Center, an institution she helped found and develop. The Wholistic Health Center was one of the first and largest of its kind in the northern United States. Michelle was licensed in New York since 1983 and in Florida since 1995 until the early 2000s. To enhance her understanding of holistic practices in 1999, she achieved a PhD in holistic nutrition. Her current practice features holistic health consultation with emphasis on mind-body balance. Along with her husband, Steve, Michelle co-directs the 501c3 not-for-profit organization, the International Association for the Advancement of Human Welfare, which was established in 1997. Michelle Dr. Handwerker has also concentrated her focus on the significance of women's circles or group practice that has great benefits in the greater process of health and healing. So I'm going to stop there and then we're going to go into our conversation. Now, Michelle, I want to talk a little bit about who you are before we go into our topic today.
Okay.
You've been married for 47 years. That means you got married quite young. You were in love with Steve, Ken's brother. What was your decision to marry that young in life instead of you're a brilliant woman, instead of putting your career ahead of love? Some people, like to go into the path of career and they say love will come. Why did you decide to make that decision to go with love?
Wow. Well, as you know, Steve and I were married after dating for 3 months. So at that point, we blended our lives together. And the reason that we fell in love was that we both had a similar aim in being alive. And so it followed naturally that we would unite. And we also ended up uniting in the work that we did. my career, so to speak. It's a funny way to look at it. I never really separated the two in my life. I think love always came first,
Mm-hmm.
and that was what guided me forward in what I did, because what I ended up doing, or in some cases, this wasn't always the case, but wherever I went, I tried to bring love with me, so to speak, so that
Mm-hmm.
even if I had struggles in accepting some of the things I had to do, um, purpose was primary, and purpose transcended the doing. So
That's
yeah,
beautiful. And
and Steve and I, to this day, even better now than ever, but that's the way we roll together. And of course, there's differences. I mean, I'm a woman, he's a man, so
of course,
um, we talk about. I learned early on about roles. I think we take that idea in life in a very externalized way. So it's not so much, when I say the word role, what comes to mind for people is, you do the cooking and you do the,
that's true.
whatever, you do those tasks that women do, but it's so much more than that, to know what the role of a woman in life is a much deeper thing. And so he supports me in my finding the meaning of that, and I support him in him finding the deepest meaning for him as a man. And so it works. It really works.
And that is beautiful, Michelle, because here you're telling me, and I didn't know this, that after 3 months that you
Yeah.
knew that you were for each other. That is amazing.
Yeah. Well, it happened on different levels, to be honest. I mean, my
Yes.
first impression was good. He, he came out of nowhere, it seemed like to me. But um, yeah, I just remember that first date. Like, I was getting home from a hard day's work, uh, and he came to pick me up. I had gotten home late, and I still had things I had to take care of. And he said, you go get dressed, get ready. I'll do this for you, And I didn't ask him to help me. He has that kind of character. So he already had me in a way, because it was extraordinary. Who acts like that? Especially, I mean, I was 20 years old, and he's a little older than me, but not much. He's a kid too.
Yes.
Who acts like that in the 1970s? It was like,
So
so
you connected. There was something dynamic, a dynamic connection,
yes,
and here you are, 47 years later,
right,
and you're so much in love with him. Uh, you know, uh,
yeah.
so talk about how you maintain such a beautiful marriage and you remain in love.
That's a big question, Jude. Uh, okay, I thought this was about holistic
Yeah, but
nutrition.
we want to
That's a
know
much easier.
who Michelle Handwerker
All
is.
right, how do I do that? All right, how much time do we have? No. Okay. How do we do that? Like, I think what I just said sort of sums it up. I mean, what's primary to us is what our understanding of being alive is. So we both agree on what life is, what the purpose of life is. That's a big thing to even
Yes.
think about that, but that was primary in our relationship, and that was, it remains that there's a consistency in that, when the purpose is something more than just,
Just between
life
you.
and
Yes.
life. And the aim is not about anything material, as
Yes.
you know.
It's higher.
It's much higher. So, and we both agreed on that right away. So what more could I ask for, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want. I haven't seen anybody else thinking this way. Um, so it was a good base to begin with.
Yes.
And we both work hard to maintain that base within ourselves. And and so it garners a lot of respect for each other, because it's extraordinary to even have that as your base, to even have that as your intention in life, and then of course to develop it and to share it and to communicate about it, to raise two kids together from that
Mm-hmm.
place, and now to grow old together. That's hard. That's hard.
It's just wonderful,
Yeah.
and you are able to pass that on, and just share, because now I find even the younger generation need to hear just
Yes.
about purpose, your roles, how you stay together, your love. It's not just, it's a higher purpose.
Yeah.
I believe God brought you together, and your career. Look at your careers together. Steve is a psychologist. You are into wholeness, so everything just meshed together in one.
Yeah.
So I want to move on to the topic. You're a well-rounded woman, and you're well educated. You have a PhD in holistic nutrition. You are an advanced practitioner of our therapeutic massage, which is a very deep kind of massage. It's beyond what we hear today. The Swedish massage is much deeper kind of healing. I wish we had more time to go into
Yes.
that today, because that's
Yeah.
very key. You practice Tai Chi and karate to keep healthy.
Yeah.
That's part of your fitness routine.
Hmm.
What made you go into holistic nutrition and that kind of armor massage therapy? Could you go into a little bit why?
Well, circumstances to a large extent had something to do with it.
Yes.
I started out studying karate, and the karate instructor happened to be married to a woman who was a healer. And she he was actually charged by his master instructor while he was over in Korea studying martial arts to take
Mm-hmm.
his sister, who was reluctant to embrace her art as a healer. She was reluctant to be responsible for it, and so as one of his tasks, that in the martial arts you're supposed to, your master is your teacher, and so you
Mm-hmm.
follow. And so his teacher was the brother of this woman, and he charged him with taking her to the United States and helping her to embrace her art, embrace it, and to teach it. So you could say it's a coincidence. It just so happened. I don't believe that. But anyway, so this karate school had this much bigger intention, based on his past, his
Mm-hmm.
what he was charged to do, what his dharma was, what his calling was, and so it grew from there. It started out very small. There were only 8 of us, and then of course when Steve came in, you know, he was very generous with what he brought, and it helped for our school to grow. Um, and then when this teacher was ready, because she was raising a baby, she had a baby at the time, so she wasn't
Yes.
teaching. She slowly came out, because I didn't even meet her at first, and started teaching the handful of us this art. What? And so the question really for me was, what helped me to embrace this art? Because what I saw, even in the 8 of us that began, everybody had a different relationship to this art. It's
Mm-hmm.
an art and it's a science. So it's
Yes.
based on acupuncture, which you could say is an art and a science as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, some people related to it in a very different way. There were people that did it like a massage, and we never really did a lot of communicating about our differences and how we related to it or how we understood the art. It was all, it was a, it was an internship of sorts. The way that I
Mm-hmm.
learned is I would stand in a room. Well, I learned the basic massage, but
Mm-hmm.
then when we opened the health center and I worked there, my training continued by essentially watching this healer treat people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was, for me, this is how I learned. I had to really engage my imagination and my instincts into the observation of this woman, combined with the knowledge that I had accrued about acupuncture and about the technique, which was specific. And I could actually come to see and feel what she was doing by my observation and my immersion with her. She didn't speak much because she didn't really
Mm-hmm.
speak English very well. It was more about me sensing things and then asking her if what I was sensing was correct, and she would acknowledge it or she would correct me somehow or show me. And then a lot of it had to do with me practicing it on different patients, where I would then, literally have my hands on them
So
and
hands-on.
feel it was totally hands on. And
Mm-hmm.
what I discovered was it was kind of, and before that, I was immersing myself in art.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a certain sensitivity. And when I then was touching these people's body and feeling the energy and feeling the blockages, and it was like I was doing like a four-dimensional sculpture almost on their
Mm-hmm.
bodies and trying to create a balance through my hands. So I embraced it, and every time I worked with someone, it was an adventure really to
Yes.
figure out. I would feel pulses. You'd look at so it developed that where I got to be very sensitive and able, to help people.
So now, as you learn from this teacher from Korea, the armor
Yeah.
therapy,
Yes.
how did you bring in the holistic nutrition? Because now you're seeing people, they're off balance.
Right.
How did you incorporate that holistic nutrition to your patients or
Right.
your clients?
Yeah. Well, that came many years later, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the health center, of course, I had basic understanding of what's good and what's bad. I mean, I would give them,
Yes.
even before I got a PhD in nutrition, I was giving them nutritional counseling because it was necessary, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so there was some, obviously, you want to eat organic, you want to eat fresh food as best you can.
Yes.
Then, and then um, specific to people, there would be certain vitamins that I would suggest for them, or supplements, even herbs. We had a really big herbal room where
Yes.
I loved to be. That was my favorite place to be. So we would make, recipes, so to speak. There were some basic ones. So, there was a cold remedy, there was a energy remedy, and we would put them in capsules, and then we
Mm-hmm.
would sell them. And then we had teas and all that kind of stuff. So I was doing that back then. When we left the organization and I was on my own, um, and I had already had all this experience, always knew that I needed to give them something to take home for them to practice on their own. And there were things I would tell them, even show
Mm-hmm.
them maybe a little Tai Chi, or a lot of the patients would take Tai Chi on the other side of the building. We would do that, or yoga or things like that. Or um but it became very clear that they needed to, what I needed to impart to these people was something that they could return to in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That they wouldn't be dependent on coming to see me for a treatment. And then, of course, the treatment only lasted so long because people would then go back to their habits. So, holistic health is about a multidimensional approach.
Yes, as we
And,
know that.
changing habits has a lot to do with it.
Yes,
Not just in diet, but thought thinking, many levels. So,
and mind-body connection.
exactly. So, you know, um, yeah, I also wanted to move away from having to have hands-on. This is before COVID, obviously, but
Yeah,
I
uh,
it was hard work. I had done it for
mhm.
years consistently, and I was raising two kids.
Mhm.
So I wanted to have something that I could help them to get to a more balanced state
Yes.
by their own efforts, and not needing somebody else to touch them and
So
do
you
the
you
work.
you you were more of a teacher. You had patients, but you wanted to teach them how to maintain
Yeah.
a balance in their bodies, maintain wholeness in their bodies, instead of some people only want like uh, healers or doctors only want their patients to be totally dependent on them. But I'm hearing you saying that you wanted to teach people so that they could, just find the perfect balance in their bodies and to truly take care of themselves.
Right. And I was happy to be there. I was happy to be there as a support, and if they
Hmm.
needed a treatment, if they, like I still go for treatments with someone, and I do my own. What it what helps me, it helps me to return to, a more balanced place, and then I can feel when I'm off balance, and I can
Yes,
question
yes,
myself, what made me get off balance? What do I need to do? So then,
yes,
so it was just giving people knowledge more than anything,
hmm,
and yes, supplements. I mean, so I call myself a holistic consultant, because it's not just about taking supplements or eating right, although those are tools. All of
yes,
these things are
definitely.
tools, but there's
Hmm.
much more. I'm much more concerned with kind of awakening in my patients an awareness of the difference between balance and imbalance, and then being responsible for returning to the state of balance, and figuring out whether it is you need a treatment. Okay, you need an AMA treatment, I'll give you an AMA treatment to help
To
you,
bring
to
to
support
bring you
you,
back to the a
to bring
perfect
it back.
state. Hmm.
Exactly. And then the reason you want to go back to a perfect state is so that you can really understand what that is, and then to
Yes,
be conscious of the places that take you away from it,
yes,
you know and then to be conscious, to be
yeah,
aware of what you're doing. How are you
yes,
breathing? What are you looking at? Are you seeing greenery, or are you living in cement?
yes.
Are you, when you're what kind of exercise are you doing? Is it the right exercise for you? Maybe today a walk would be better than a swim, or
It's
maybe.
beautiful. Yes,
So it's about that. It's about raising the consciousness of the inner physician, and helping people to build a relationship to their inner physician, because within us is that awareness.
the
We
ability
have that
to heal.
to heal, and to know to know that, what happens is most people get frightened when they have a pain. It even happens to me. I mean,
Hmm.
especially as you get older, it's like every pain becomes, this is the end. I'm on the way out.
Yeah.
That happens. It's one of those things I'm working on. But anyway,
But
um,
what you're saying, to pay attention,
right.
why is this happening, instead of panicking.
and realizing, this is where the inner physician comes in. You if you don't panic, if you don't go into that place of fear and judgment and the noise, what they call
Yeah.
it, monkey brain.
Yeah.
If you don't go there, you evaluate. You return to a place of calm.
Mm-hmm.
The inner physician is always in there, and it will always give you the feedback you need.
Mm-hmm.
To know what's best for you.
And you know something, as you say this, Michelle, I'm thinking I have to go to the Bible. Shalom.
Oh yeah.
We know the Hebrew word is shalom, means peace, well-being, and wholeness. And you know, there's a scripture that's in Jeremiah 29:11, and it says, God is telling his people, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of shalom. My
Yes.
goodness, thoughts of shalom to
Right.
give you a future. So embracing shalom, instead of panicking, healing comes because
Yeah.
he's the God of shalom. So
Absolutely.
I hear what you're saying. Now, I know we have a certain time. We could be here for 2 hours.
For sure.
But I want to ask you, Michelle,
Yeah.
what were some of your challenges when you pursued holistic nutrition back in the day, in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
It was not as common as it is now. It was not as popular. What were some of the challenges that you encountered?
Hmm. Let's see. I can't even. I don't. I actually think that back then was when it was first coming in, and in a way, I didn't. It was less of a challenge in a way because nowadays you got so many experts out there,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the internet, and so people didn't need a person to, they could find anything they wanted online now. It's more of a
But that's
challenge
a
now.
but that's a danger too, because there's so many people who are saying that they are experts, but they're not really experts, and they're leading people down the wrong path.
That's right. So, I mean, if you want to, that you could say that's a challenge. I mean, to be up against that and the constant changing of, keto and
Yes,
paleo and vegan,
and people are confused.
and
People are
people
so
are
confused.
confused. And yeah, and you're, you know, I mean, I never looked at this as, it was never for me. We going back to what we were talking about, a career. It was never that. I'm more at this point in my life, especially, um, just it's service, So
Yes,
and what I found even from the beginning is the person that the only person that's going to hear this is somebody that's looking for it or wants to hear it.
yes,
I think the challenges I had was trying to make people that weren't interested try and hear it.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
was a mistake on my
yes.
part because, um, and also, feeling discouraged when people didn't didn't hear it, didn't want to hear it, just ignored it. I'm watching people deteriorate
Yeah,
because they wouldn't
yeah,
take anything because
yes.
they were so stuck in their habits and stuck in their, wrong thinking
Isn't
and
that so sad, Michelle?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
And I
God.
back then I think my biggest challenge probably was taking that personally, that they didn't want to listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of now I can see clearly that, you have to want it. And it's not
Yes,
easy to get to that point. I think what's the problem today is, and in general, I think this has always been a problem, that people wait until they're not engaging this as a daily practice. It becomes they wait till they're sick
yes,
and then Sometimes they wait too long.
And yes, and it's so hard to bring the body back into balance. And this
It
is what
is.
we, on this
Yes.
wellness journey, we want to reach people with preventative medicine,
Yes.
to show them how to take care of their body so nothing major. Do not wait until
Yeah.
a devastating disease hits your body to pay attention.
Exactly. I mean, they have to. This is the whole issue of, and that's something that I used as my phrase is balance is health. And
Yes.
just think about what it takes to balance when you get out. If you want to try to walk along a straight line or walk on a balance beam, you're constantly moving.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like, okay. So that's the practice. It's like every
Yes.
day it's scanning yourself or speaking to your inner physician. Where
Hmm.
am I at? What do I need to eat today?
Yeah.
How, what do I, what
Uh,
kind of
uh,
exercise, that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yes. And this is what
Drink water.
uh, all about wonderfully whole is that we see God as our healer.
Right.
He's our health, and at the same time, we are asking God for wisdom to how to take care of the body, what to eat. Pay attention to your body. What you can eat with is healthy might not be good for me. So I have to know my body, asking God for wisdom, what nutrients to put in my body, what supplements, and also taking time to just go for a nice walk. Today I probably would not work out with weights because I need something more relaxing. So
Yes.
it's all a balance.
Exactly.
And this cannot be given in like 2 or 3 sessions. It's a lifestyle. It's truly a lifestyle. And at one point I used to feel the frustration of wanting to see people healthy and they would not listen. But
Yeah.
now kind of, I'm at peace. You do what you can, and
Yes.
you pray that people would listen so
Yeah.
that they do not have to wait for a health crisis to pay attention. Now, Michelle, could you go a little bit more into what holistic nutrition is? I know we discussed a bit about the mind body balance, and you want to expand on it a little bit.
I'm not really sure what more I can say. Um,
Like for example, like when you do a consultation with
yes.
with your
Yeah.
clients, and you work with women, you tell them about um, their menus, what they're putting
Oh,
into
yeah.
into their bodies,
Yeah.
and this is we're looking at the emotional health,
Yes.
their mental
Yeah.
well-being,
Yeah.
in addition to what you tell them about eating
Okay. I see what you mean.
organically. Yes,
Okay. So, yeah, the first thing is to help a person to become more conscious of what their habits are. So the
yes.
first thing would be to keep a log of what you eat. So
Mm-hmm.
for a week, or it depends on when the next appointment is, but for a week at least, I want to know everything that goes into your mouth, whether it's food, drink, supplementation, drugs, what have you, whatever it is you take.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll look at that and we'll discuss places of, that need to be addressed, like bad habits, perhaps, if somebody, yeah. So there's certain basics of where you want to make certain changes right away. Good water is important. Organics is very important more and more, because
Yes.
even the GMOs could be filled with all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Even though the seeds might not be,
That's true.
they still use chemicals on the plants, and so it's about increasing your consciousness about your nutrition. Now, nutrition is on different levels.
Yeah,
We got
definitely.
food, we've got air, we've
Yes.
got thoughts, we got impressions. So it
Toast.
depends on how much they want to go. You have to
Yeah.
feel out the person. Again, it's like I could lay out it all, in a nutshell. I like that phrase. In a
Yes.
nutshell, this is what you got to do. But then, you see those kind of lists of things to do, you can find anywhere. And so it's more of a relationship of, giving the client or the patient the opportunity to sort of unpack their lives, on many
Very
levels,
good. Yes.
and then to, see where they find they have difficulties, or what it is they're looking for. I mean, there are so many levels of that this can be addressed on. It all depends on the person's willingness. If we're
To go
just going to,
deeper.
exactly. I mean, and I, over the years, I've gone very deep into this stuff. So that's how I segued into circles, because dealing with a person's diet is a pretty basic level of, change. And I find that when a person becomes more conscious of a finer energy, that they'll naturally make these changes. They'll become more aware of themselves. They become more aware of the people around them. They come into touch with a finer, more peaceful place within themselves. And once you touch that, you want to keep it. So then then the questioning begins, like, how do I keep this, and how do I lose this, and what do I need to do myself to change that? And do I need help? Maybe I need help.
Yeah.
Do I want to have more sessions so that I can discuss what makes me eat, for desserts, or
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
or
Yes.
fried chicken.
Yes.
It's, besides the fact that it's very delicious. My mouth is watering.
And
Doesn't mean I eat it, but
no.
there's no doubt. But so there's a lot of principles here about moderation. But then, what is moderation?
Yes.
Moderation kind of creeps up if you're not careful. So there's a lot to it, and
we both work with women.
yes,
Okay. Now we see women at this time. They're so busy, especially women in leadership, or just the average woman is very busy, and
yeah,
we find there's a lot of emotional eating because they're so stressed, and their mentals. All of this is affecting women today, and we find there's so much imbalance,
yeah,
and we really want to help them if they want to be helped, because some women, they don't want to hear it, because and I have seen women and talked to women, and they don't have time. They don't have time for their health. They don't, because I don't have time for this.
yeah. That's the first thing you have to deal with. That's a lie. Okay,
Yes,
it's a
yes,
lie. Let's just put it like it is.
yeah,
You don't have time. Okay, so keep on doing what you're doing. See how that works for you.
yes.
You're going to have a lot less time to do any of things, because
That's
you're going to
true.
kill yourself.
And
So
your children, your spouse is depending on you to live long. So
Yeah.
that's my thing, to reach women, and I know
Yeah.
it's yours too, to
Yeah.
reach women, to bring them into that balance, to take better care of themselves with a holistic nutrition, the mind body connection, so that they're emotionally healthy, they're mentally not stressed out,
Right.
and then look at what they put into their bodies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So so
so
so
you're giving them, well, yeah, these are just basic principles and a whole a gestalt of what it is that is available, and it's
yes,
like,
yes,
to me it's like common sense right now. I mean,
yeah,
of course
yeah,
it's taken years to get to, but I've always sort of been on this track. The thing
yeah.
is, there are many, 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 many things that block people from just taking a moment to sit down and
Yeah.
breathe, even. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
I,
it's sad.
how,
It
so
is.
so how do we reach them, Michelle, so that they could
Uh,
start, get off this treadmill, to take better care of themselves?
I think
How?
what you're doing here is a wonderful thing. You're providing something that they could take a little time.
Yeah,
I don't know. I hope it's valuable, ladies
it's very
and
valuable.
gents.
It's very
Um,
valuable.
and then just, it's that's all it takes, is to stop, just to slow down for a time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm now, my focus is now primarily on doing these circles. But even
Mm-hmm.
that, I have to tell you, I opened up a thing and I had 276 women signed
Mm.
on to be part of a group on Nextdoor, where I put things up very often, you know, things to think about, questions, just to stimulate some thought and some interaction. I invited people to come there. I asked if anyone was interested in gathering together. I mean, this was during COVID, so, but I
Yes.
offered to do a Skype online, and there was very little response.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's,
why did you come? I even put this on more than once. Why did you come to this group? I just, I was trying to, like, come on. Why did you come to this group? A lot of them just came, not a lot of them, the ones that answered, which was just a handful out of the
yeah.
275, six, whatever. It just kept growing. I'm like, oh, good, here's another one. It didn't mean anything. They were coming. I don't know why they were coming. I even said at one point, I hope that, if you came here to make friends, I hope you found some friends. You
Yeah.
know, because it was like, you're not getting what I'm offering you. And I did it all for free. I did a Tai Chi class for free. I did
Mm-hmm.
a circle for free. I didn't ask for anything. I just said, come, show up. I brought everything. I brought music. I brought candles. I brought a stone to pass. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to share this with people. And,
Mm-hmm.
a circle, there are specific practices in a circle which lead to a certain energy. And
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was felt. It really was. I think that they wanted it. But what is it? I don't know. It blows my mind, because been around the I've been around the globe doing this, whether it
Mm-hmm.
be on, sometimes it was on the computer, sometimes I had to get in a plane and fly to places,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so important to me to be in that space and to take
Mm-hmm.
time to be in that space. And my husband was very supportive of me in doing that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, so I think it's a brilliant experience that I would hope women would come together. I also think this a this I also think that if women came together more in circles, there would be a dramatic change in the way things are in the world. And I always pray for that. I pray that that could happen, and I try to be somebody that encourages it. But it's not easy to get people to engage. I
Yeah.
don't know what keeps them. I really don't. I think that makes me very sad. It makes me
Yeah,
very
yeah,
sad when I see.
but we can only do what we can and make the offer. You know, is the Lord
Yes.
says, "Whosoever, the whosoever," and let them come. Now,
Right.
Michelle, we just coming off the end of COVID.
Oh
Okay.
no, they're starting a new one.
Oh my, with the variant, right? This
Yes.
South Africa. Oh my God. Now we don't want to go there with the vaccine, but I want you to share some health protocols that you can prescribe to help people strengthen their immune system.
Okay. Okay, so everybody knows that vitamin C is a very powerful um, supplement,
Yes,
essential. Vitamin C, vitamin D, especially now up in the north. You guys are, in the winter months.
yes.
So, and you're not going to get the kind of sun that we get down here. And so you need to supplement with D. Most people are deficient in D, and that causes a lot of problems. Then we have things. Zinc is also very important. These are just supplements.
Hmm.
Quercetin is important.
Yes, I
Um,
just started taking quercetin.
those are basic for immune support. Then there's lots of other things that you could do. There's products that, you know, Dr. Mercola has a great immune support product. Uh, and we've been, I don't, I, of course, there's the ivermectin and the
Yes.
hydroxychloroquine that you can get off label if you go to the America's Frontline Doctors. They can hook
Hmm.
you up with that. But we've gotten also wormwood is made from the same plant that ivermectin is made from. So I've been using wormwood. I don't like taking pharmaceuticals. I know
Yeah.
that I
So
know
this,
I would take it if I didn't feel well. But I
so
first go to things
so
like wormwood.
wormwood, is that a herb, Michelle?
That's an herb, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in the
But
chat
it
there.
yeah, and so the basic herb, I forget the name of it, but it's the same thing that's in ivermectin or the foundational
Okay.
quality. I always try to pay very close attention to how I feel, and
Yes,
I
yes.
not to just take these things automatically. So, if I start to feel a little off, then I
Yeah.
will take, I'll take something to boost my vitamin C and zinc and D and then of course there's omegas 3s and 6s are good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Um, those are the basics.
I'm putting it in the chat here so people could see it when the vitamin D, the zinc, vitamin C,
Quercetin,
and the wormer.
and then it's really good. We've been making this concoction with grapefruit skin and lemon skin. You pour
This is,
water. You
mm-hmm.
can make your own. It's essentially what HCQ is. So if you can't get the actual pill,
Mm-hmm.
it has the same quality. Also,
So
tonic water does that.
so you grated the
No, you put it in a pot and you cover it with water and you
so
bring it to a boil.
you peel the skin and
Well,
you
yeah.
just
If you let's say you eat a grapefruit, you
mm-hmm.
save the skin and you have 3 skins of 3 grapefruits. You put into a pot with 2 lemon skins
Mm-hmm.
into the pot. Fill it up with water. Let it come to a boil, and then you simmer it. You let it simmer for a while, and then you put it in a bottle or and you put it in the refrigerator, and we take a swig every time you go in. A couple of let's say half a cup maybe a day, quarter
Yes.
of a cup, a couple of tablespoons even, just to keep up this
It's
again. It's to create a balanced chemistry. See, this
mm-hmm.
whole thing is, I
It's
don't want to go
balance
there,
in your
but
body.
to keep your immune system strong, it's much better to have natural immunity. I mean,
Yes.
I know a lot of people have already succumbed to this shot.
Yeah. And now they wanting us to take booster shots, you know. So the thing
So
is,
I can't go there. I don't,
yeah, we don't want to
yeah.
go there,
I do
but
want to
we,
go there, but I don't want to go there. But
yeah. But
it's just
we
very
want to
difficult.
make sure that we take care of ourselves with the natural things that God has given us, you know. So
Yes,
I
because the natural immunity is really the the only way to really protect yourself.
yeah, so I put it in the chat. I never heard of
Wormwood,
wormwood.
WORM
Um,
wood,
okay.
wormwood.
Could you pick that up in the pharmacy
I
anywhere?
wouldn't. I get it organic from Oregon. I don't remember the name
Oregon?
of the guy. I went into Amazon and organic wormwood, and then it
Organic
comes in this
wormwood.
beautiful little. Everything is
So what's the name
recyclable.
of the company,
I wish I
Michelle?
could tell you. I don't have the name right offhand.
Oregon wormwood.
Let's see if I can find it right now, quick.
Organic. Okay.
Yeah, organic is good. You want to always get organic.
Yeah, especially with herbs, and I put it in the chat in case anybody wants to look at it. Oregon.
Yeah, and in capsules. I get capsules. Here it is. This is it.
Okay, so
Wild Harvest, it's called.
Wild Heart. I'll put it
Wild Harvest
Wild Harvest Wormwood.
wormwood.
Wild Harvest. It's good to know these things. You know, God has placed a lot of good stuff for us that we once we follow through with it, we would see a change in our immune system because we don't
Absolutely.
know what else is coming down the pipeline. So we want to make sure that we have a strong immune system. And I like that I never heard of this one, wormwood.
Yeah,
Okay.
look it up. Look it up.
Yes.
Google it because you'll see how. And then if you look at ivermectin next
Hmm.
to it, you'll see what's in wormwood, and you'll see that it's also in ivermectin, um,
This is
and
good.
without all the other whatever they put in it
Yeah.
in
Thank
when
you.
they synthesize it.
Thank you for this because I never heard of it. Now, Michelle, we only have about 8 minutes left, and I want to just go. My other question, what were some of the outcomes in helping individuals over the years? You know, you focus on helping women with their bodies and holistic nutrition, and you also had the armor
Yes.
therapeutic massage. What were some of the outcomes using those both therapies together? Your holistic nutrition and the
Yeah.
therapeutic massage.
Yeah. So you mean you want cases that I
Yeah,
had
just
that?
we don't have much time, so give me maybe
Yeah.
two cases.
Oh boy.
Ah,
um, it just again it goes back to it's like everything. They're given tools. People are given tools, so their
yes.
diets change, their
Mm-hmm.
lifestyles change, their mindsets change,
Yes.
and then they also have a greater sense of hope because when they fall off the wagon, so to speak, or go back to their old habits, um, they have a way to return. They have something to return to because
Mm-hmm.
they know the way back, so to speak. They know that slipping doesn't mean the end of. You know what I mean? It's like I think when people don't have knowledge, and they get themselves on a different trajectory by changing their diet and changing different things for a long time. It takes a long time of practice for that to become ingrained and for you
Very
not to
true.
slip back to an old habit. And then if you're just starting out, what happens is when you fall off the track, so to speak, you can get depressed, of course, and that's just an excuse to keep going on the bad habit.
Yeah. If you fall off and you ate the whole cheesecake, someone said, "Oh, what the heck?"
Yeah, the heck with it. I don't, I'm too far gone.
Yeah.
But but when you've had, I guess when let me say you've had a few sessions with somebody who is telling you or teaching you or showing you, because I'm showing you by my own lifestyle that you, it's just like you just need to shift back. You don't need to keep going in the wrong direction.
Yes.
Just take a hold of, it's not so much an external action. It becomes more of a shift in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not so hard to do that shift, especially if you've already touched upon how much better you feel when so you're not doing this as a regimented struggle, discipline. That word discipline, people have this,
Yeah, and people just something in them rebel.
resist it.
Yeah.
So it's more about shifting the mindset. And then once you shift your mindset and you have a taste of the freedom
I
that
like
exists
that.
there,
I like that.
it doesn't, you want to make those changes because it's not so much an effort anymore. And and
Yeah.
you're not so being so hard on yourself if you don't do it perfectly,
Yes.
because you really want that mindset more than anything else. So that's it.
Yeah. So we have 4 more minutes, Michelle.
Yes.
So what are some of your plans for the future with all the knowledge that you have?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, I'm trying to write a book
Yes.
that is, it's encompassing all these ideas, which is
Mm-hmm.
not a how-to book, but it's an authentic expression of my understanding through time, and which I haven't really, yeah, and which encompasses my struggles as well
Mm-hmm.
as, and but from a point of view of sort of being on the other side of the struggle now, kind of like that, and that I have a deeper understanding now of of all these things that I've been trying to share are in me. It's
Yes.
it's really it could sound selfish at this point, but it's not, because if I'm able to be in this place as best I can, as much as I can, wherever I can, I think that it reverberates into the world, wherever, with whomever I'm interacting with, and I'm satisfied with that. Like so I said earlier, I had 276 women. So to just appear, they just kept coming, every day. I started out with one, and
Yeah.
then the next thing I knew there were 10, and then there were 30, and then I got to 276, and then I took it down
Yeah.
because I realized it's not about numbers of people.
It's
It's
about
about
who
it's about
reaching.
this place that I know inside myself. And then
Mm-hmm.
whomever I'm going to talk to, I talk to you and whoever's listening to this, and hopefully, it touches somebody, and
Yes. Yes.
it'll spark. It's like a little spark. And then the spark becomes a little bit of a flame. And then if that can flame can, and so, and it's easy to get caught up in thinking the more people
It's
it's
not.
not about that.
It's not always the numbers because we want. Sometimes you might just touch one person or two people and they get it and they are able to pass it on to somebody else, you know.
Yes.
So
So
I
it's
think that,
quality, not quantity.
yeah, quality. So,
Yeah.
so this is good, Michelle. I know we have been talking here for 1 hour,
Wow.
and I am so happy that we were able to converse today, and just get some understanding about we talk about a lot of things, but we focus mostly on holistic nutrition and how people, especially women, to come into balance,
Yes.
because we see a lot of women, they off balance, their whole system is off
Right.
because of all the things that they are so busy doing. They don't take care of themselves. So hopefully with this conversation, that someone would hear and would want to reach out. Now, are you open to take any consultations
Sure.
if someone would want to work with you?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So how do they get in contact with you, Michelle?
Um, the email is the
Hmm.
best. It's peace, PEACE
Let me
WK.
let me put it in the chat.
Okay.
P.
Peace, like in peace,
Mm-hmm,
PEACEWK at
mm-hmm.
same word, peacewk.org. That's the email. And just put in the subject,
Peace, WK at,
peace, WK.
that's
Just
it?
the same, yeah. .org.
That all. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you would like to get in contact with Michelle, because she loves to help women take care of themselves, their bodies, bring it in balance, you could reach her by contacting her at this email, peacewk@peacewk.org.
Right.
Michelle, thank you so much for coming on,
It's my pleasure.
and just wanting to help people to go to another level on their wellness journey. And this is what Wonderfully Whole is all about, helping people to be whole. We want to be
Yes.
whole people in our spirit, our soul, and our body. So thank you again. And so we're going to come off. Don't leave the studio.
Okay.
Okay. So have a blessed evening, everyone, as we come to the end of our Wonderfully Whole conversation. Next month, look for our next month broadcast. We know it's in December, but we're going to be having a broadcast. So be well and be wonderfully whole. God bless.